Are you searching for the perfect way to upgrade your pet's enclosure? One of the easiest and most effective ways to turn a boring tank into a beautiful one is with a naturalistic background.
There are a few different methods that we use, one of which we've already explored. But here is another one of our favorites, the carbonized cork method. This is super underutilized in our opinion, and we're going to tell you what you need for it, how to build it yourself, and give you all our secret tips and tricks along the way.
First off, here are the materials that you'll need. Everything's going to be linked below in the description, and make sure to use our Amazon affiliate links to help support the channel. For this build, you'll need carbonized cork panels, spray foam, which is optional, silicone, a caulk gun, your hardscape substrate, and black vinyl or plastidip.
First up is carbonized cork. You're probably already familiar with cork bark. It is a common ingredient in vivariums and terrariums. It's lightweight, looks great, and provides a great growing medium for all sorts of plants. But you might not have seen carbonized cork before. These are super compressed sheets of cork wood. They retain moisture and make a great surface for plants to grow on, just like cork bark. And they will still evoke a wooden or bark-like texture and appearance if you use them right.
Cork panels are typically fused together using heat or a chemical adhesive. You need to get the heat-treated panels since the chemicals might not be safe for your animals. In general, we recommend panels at least 1 to 2 inches thick. This is a 2-inch thick piece. And we get ours from Zorro. Again, it'll be linked in the description.
Next up is spray foam. Spray foam comes in a can with a little nozzle on top. It sprays out of the tip of the nozzle as a super sticky, thick goo, then rapidly expands as it cures, getting up to about 4 times the size. It's commonly used to seal gaps or as insulation. There's a lot of different kinds that you can get, but we specifically recommend black pond and stone. Unlike other types of expanding foam, it's specifically made for use in ponds, so it's pet safe. It has a much more natural appearance than white expanding foam, and when carved, it looks a lot like black lava rock. You can make convincing backgrounds with just spray foam if you do it right. You can check out our video on spray foam backgrounds to learn more. But black pond and stone is a lot less likely to be stocked at your local hardware store, but it's definitely worth it to find it. We recommend ordering it online if you can't find it in person. And if you don't want to deal with spray foam, no worries, it's optional for this method.
The next thing you'll need is silicone. Silicone is a rubber-like polymer that you can buy in a thick liquid form. Think of it like a really strong glue. Once it cures, it sets as a hard yet flexible waterproof material. In pretty much any glass fish tank or vivarium that you can buy, the glass panels have been sealed together at the edges with silicone. Because of this, there's a lot of different aquarium-safe silicones that you can get, the most common of which is clear. Like the spray foam, we recommend black aquarium-safe silicone over clear. It's less shiny and reflective, it goes well in the dark, shadowy areas of your tank, and it looks clean and professional when it's dried. It is important to get aquarium-safe silicone since other versions can take a long time to cure and could be leaching toxic chemicals into your vivarium. You'll also need a caulk gun for dispersing your silicone.
Next up is your hardscape. These are things like rocks and branches. You can use anything from lava rock to dragonstone to ghost wood to cork bark. Cork bark flats are a favorite of ours since they can be used to make platforms or incorporated directly into the background, and they go really well with a carbonized cork.
For substrate, you can use whatever substrate that you planned on using in your final vivarium. We don't need a lot of it for the background, just a sprinkle here or there. The black vinyl or plastidip is for covering the outside of the tank and making sure that there isn't any random light streaming through and making your background look fake. You can use whichever option you'd like, and we'll go into some pros and cons in a bit.
Okay, now that you've got all your materials, we can get started. This is a really simple and straightforward process. Essentially, we're just going to cover the exposed walls with the pieces of carbonized cork. So here is how we like to do that.
Step 1 is preparing your carbonized cork. Your cork will arrive in flat sheets like this. This is not the naturalistic bark-like texture that we're looking for, so we're going to have to do some work. We like to get 2-inch thick panels, and using a knife, we cut around the middle and try to pry them apart. They usually fragment into a couple smaller chunks. From each 2-inch thick piece, we can get a few uneven, roughly 1-inch thick chunks. Every chunk will have a flat side and an uneven side. The flat side will make adhering these chunks to the walls of our tank a breeze. We'll break our entire board into smaller 4 to 6-inch pieces. Hang on to the smaller pieces that fall off because we'll use these later. Now, on to step 2.
Step 2 is hardscape. As we mentioned, you can use a variety of things for hardscape, from wood to rocks, cork bark, etc. It all depends on the look that you're going for or just the materials that you have on hand. Before doing the hardscape though, we want to install our built-in hardware at this step. For example, if we're building a waterfall or ventilation system, we build these out and attach these pieces before adding in the hardscape elements. And when planning for hardscape, we like to use 1 to 2 big central pieces to help frame the rest of our scape. We like to play around by holding up potential pieces up to the background before locking into place with silicone or hot glue. During this step, we'll also try to obscure as much of the hardware as possible with our hardscape without impacting their functionality. If you're planning on planting into the background, now is also a really good time to attach some plant pots directly to the walls.
For larger hardscape pieces, you can use the optional spray foam to lock them in place. If you do use spray foam, make sure to carve away the shiny bits once the foam hardens enough to do so. Although we try not to have exposed silicone when attaching our hardscape, sometimes it's unavoidable. In these cases, we simply dab substrate on the wet silicone before it cures to help hide it. You can also use this to hide any exposed bits of the spray foam. Once you've got all the hardscape locked in, it's time to blend.
So step 3 is to blend the hardscape into the background. We basically want to cover up any of the gaps between the background and the hardscape. We'll be using those tiny cork pieces from before to help with this process. We use silicone and or hot glue to attach these pieces to the gaps to blend the hardscape seamlessly into the walls.
Now it's time to fill in these flat sections of glass. For this, we'll start by attaching the larger chunks of carbonized cork. This should leave you with a mosaic of uneven bark-looking stuff. We love how the rough texture adds so much interest to the tank. Don't worry if there's some gaps between your cork pieces because we can fill these in by depositing some silicone, then stuffing it with small scraps of cork. A pro tip for this step is to use the smaller and thinner chunks of cork towards the front of your tank so that you're not obscuring the rest of the tank that's behind it.
And if you're finding this video helpful so far, please hit that like button. Back to the video. Now, step 4 is silicone and substrate. You can add the silicone to any area where you want a substrate texture. This includes any spray foam that you may have done earlier or any transitions or exposed bits or even open pieces of glass. Just like before, you'll need to pipe out the silicone, smearing it into the areas you want to cover, and top it off with your substrate while the silicone is still wet. And with that, your background is almost complete.
Now, let your silicone cure fully. A good test is to wait until you can no longer smell the silicone. You can help speed up this process by using fans to increase airflow. It's really important to make sure that your silicone is fully cured and the smell is gone before you add any animals. Since the carbonized cork was heat treated, there may also still be some ash on your panels. We try our best to remove that ash by hosing the tank down with water once the silicone is cured.
And finally, let's black out the walls of the tank. This is an essential step in every one of our scapes because it really deepens the shadows and provides the perfect amount of contrast. For this, you can use the method of your choice. Sometimes we use Plasti-Dip, which is a sprayable black rubber to coat the outside. For this tank, we wrap the walls in black vinyl. We like both of these methods since they're easy and removable.
If it's your first time doing a tank, I would recommend Plasti-Dip, but if you plan on doing a lot of tanks, covering a very wide surface area, then it might be cheaper and easier to go with the black vinyl, which we think gives it a very professional look as well.
And with that, you're done. You have a beautiful background with plenty of interesting hardscape and textures for your eyes and your animals to explore. We think it's so much better than a boring glass background or even the standard photograph or foam background that comes with many tanks these days.
Now that the background's done, just add a drainage layer, some substrate, and some live plants to really get your bioactive, amazing animal habitat going. The carbonized cork is awesome because you can pin plants straight to the background. It retains moisture really well, so all your vining and climbing plants can grow straight up it, and it is by far one of our favorite backgrounds.
So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We always appreciate when you interact with the channel, and please keep doing so by watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to see more content.
If you're in the SF Bay Area and you want to commission a tank, please reach out to our email below. This is one that we're working on right now for a veiled chameleon, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye!